Yeah, if I start by introducing myself, the person doing all the talking so far, my name's Ben Stratton, and I'm the general manager of tour operations at the Caravan and Motorhome Club, and I'm responsible for the worldwide Caravan and Motorhome holidays part of the business. And I'm really pleased to be joined by two of my colleagues today, one of which is Joe, our product manager, and the other Georgia, our reservations and operations manager. You'll also see here we've got a photo of Gemma, our senior reservations and operations executive, and Karen, our operations executive. So whilst Gemma and Karen aren't on the call with us today, then if you have spoken to us before, then there's quite a high chance that you have spoken with either Gemma or Karen on the phone. But otherwise, now it's really just my opportunity to extend a warm welcome to everyone joining today's webinar, and to thank you all and our wonderful partners for your time today. And without further ado, I'd like to pass over to my colleague Joe to introduce our excellent panel of partners and today's discussion. So thank you, Joe, over to you.
So thank you for everyone joining us today. And I'd like to introduce our partners, starting with Rian, the Group Director of Involve Africa for 20 years. His superb team are our voices and our ears on the ground in Southern Africa. We are excited to be able to share his expertise and top tips with you today. Also from Involve Africa, we have Deirdre and Quilbus, our extremely knowledgeable and experienced tour hosts. Deirdre and Quilbus escort and guide groups through Southern Africa and frequently host our Road to the Rainbow Nation tour. Last but not least, we have Rachel from South Africa Tourist Board. Rachel has been to South Africa over 30 times, so she will be able to provide some valuable insight into travel to the wonderful country of South Africa. So I'll just start again on the slide that we included from a page from our brochure. This gives you a visual overview of the tours. We're currently offering 2 escorted group tours. The Savannah Safari Falls, which is shown in red on the map. This starts and finishes in Johannesburg. The Road to the Rainbow Nation group tour is shown in orange, which starts in Cape Town and finishes in Johannesburg. And our 2 independent tours, the Cape of Many Colours, which is shown in the green, and Cape Town and the Garden route is the blue route, and they both start and finish in Cape Town, and being independent tours are completely flexible to suit you. As you saw from the previous slide, South Africa features predominantly in our tours. It's a fantastic country, and who better than Rachel from South Africa's Tourist Board to share her thoughts on the highlights of the destination that our worldwide holidays travel to. So over to you, Rachel.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you can all hear me well. So I just wanted to kind of point out that the routes that these guys do with their with the escorted tours especially go to some of my absolute favourite places in the entire country. The wild coast of South Africa is not a place that you can go just driving, and motorhome is essential. It is some of the most rugged coast in the entire country, and it's one of my absolute favorite places. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of get that out there. But really, why South Africa? I could sit here for the entire webinar, but I'm not entirely sure that the guys here would appreciate me taking over. But the diversity of experience and the value for money are my two key reasons why you should go to South Africa. Within those tours, you had city life in Cape Town. You had the Kalahari Desert. You had the Wild Coast. You had the Karoo. You also had Kruger and the Lowveld. It's the diversity of the country. Having 2 oceans means that the biomes of the country are, so the vegetation changes across the entire nation. So as you're driving, you're seeing an entire world just in one country. And I wouldn't be doing the country a service if I didn't mention the people. I can guarantee you that you will meet the friendliest, the most helpful, the most passionate, fun, It's a land I spend my time when I'm in South Africa smiling and eating and mainly being outdoors because it's an outdoors nation. The food is incredible. The wine is obviously goes without saying, but really the diversity of the country, the diversity of the people and the friendliness of the people. And just to kind of go back to the value for money, I feel like we're going to touch on that later on, but I do just want to mention that the Post Office Holiday Money Report just came out and Cape Town was the second best value destination for UK travellers. So the pound really does go really far. So yes, obviously it's the same time zone, so you don't have to worry about jet lag, and there is no visa. It's a direct flight. Really, everything, it ticks every single box in my opinion. So I mean, if you do have any questions, I could, as I said, I could sit here and talk for quite a while on all of these things. But if you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat. I'm very happy to be answering them and typing away as we go. I hope that Joe, is there anything else I should have covered, or Ben? Did I cover everything?
Yes, you did.
Wonderful.
Yes, sorry. Thank you.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure before I let you guys move on. But yeah,
brilliant, and you really hit home on the key points that I agree with, Rachel, as well. Being married to a lovely South African guy, totally wholeheartedly agree on the people being very friendly. So yeah, thank you. With regards to our tours, just wanted to come touch on the overview of the dates and durations of our tours. 2026 is now on sale. And you may be wondering who these tours are suitable for. One question submitted in the webinar registration was whether tours are suitable for a couple in the late 70s, early 80s, especially the Savannah Safari and Falls. Rian, could you please share your advice for our listeners on this?
Yes, hi Joe. Welcome to everyone. From my side, I just realized watching my camera that I really do have more radio face than a TV face. But anyway, you're going to bear with me a little bit. So yeah, now the tours are all designed that it is really suitable for everyone. You know, on a question of age, it is always difficult because obviously, you know, some 35s act like they are 90 and some 70-year-olds are younger than I'm feeling most days. But if you compare it to any country you've ever done a motorhome trip, it's the same exercise. It's the same kind of motorhome. It's the same physical need that you would need to do a tour like this. All the excursions that we brought into the tours, and we'll touch on them a little bit later as well, has all been designed that it is suitable for everyone. There might be one or two things that, you know, that they do a small bushwalk, for example, but you're always welcome to, if it's not suitable for you, to obviously sit out. There might be somebody just with, you know, a sprained ankle and they're also not going to do it. So in terms of accessibility, in terms of what you need to do, what you need to have, if you're in good physical condition, if you know that you can handle a motorhome and drive the distances, in terms of what you're going to see and what you're going to do, there's no extreme, there's no trekking, there's no climbing involved. So it is really suitable and designed for kind of every age that wants to do the trip.
Great, thank you, Rian.
Thank you, Rian. Yes, that's helpful. That is a common question that we do get, so it's really good to take the opportunity to cover that now. So just going on to the next slide, best time to visit. The next question on everyone's lips is, what's the weather going to be like? On the left-hand side of this slide, we're showing the average temperatures across cities in South Africa. And on the right-hand side, we're showing average temperatures for Maun in Botswana, which is a stop on our Savannah Safari and Falls tour. Rian, would you like to add anything further about the type of weather to expect when travelling around such a vast continent with ever-changing climatic regions?
Yeah, for sure. I've actually just been Googling it under the table. What's the distance from the UK to Spain? And I've seen that's 1,600 kilometers. Now, I mean, I live in Worcester, and again, I'm sitting here with more casual, but it's 38 degrees today here where I'm sitting, which I presume is a bit different from where you guys are sitting. But I mean, from where I'm sitting to Johannesburg is already 1,600 kilometers. So it is a big country, and in a big country, it means that you have diverse weather as well. I mean, for example, in South Africa, we get winter rains in the south, and we get summer rains in the north. So to make it easy, your summer is our winter. So we're just the opposite weather from what you are in the UK. So on a tour, like the routings that we do, it can change kind of daily. But if you look at the graph there of temperatures, it's obviously very visible that we never have the cold that you guys know in the UK. So cold for us would be, in winter time when it dropped to 18 or 17 degrees. That's already a very cold day for us. But if you come, depending on which time of the year, on these tours, you'll have a combination of. So if you're then in August, September, for example, in Cape Town side, you might get a little bit of rain, but it's also the start of spring. So it means all the wildflowers are open, the wells are here, you can just feel, and you see a lot of small animals because it's the kind of birth time for animals that you'll see in the park. So although you might have a little bit of a drop in like the southern area, then you move through the country. Once you get north, then you're going to sit in full sun again. If you look at like Botswana, for example, Botswana is really and the same with South Africa, it's all year round countries. And we always say it's layer country. So you'll wake up in the morning and you will have 3 layers on before the sun comes up. By breakfast time, 1 layer will be off, and by 11 o'clock, you'll be sitting in shorts and a t-shirt. So that's the kind of extreme, or not, that's a difference in weather that we get. So in the times that the tours are, for example, the Rainbow Nation one is in August, beginning of September. Again, like I said, it's springtime. You're going to have a lovely time in the south. It might be a little bit cooler still, but north again, you're going to be in complete summer temperatures. You're going to be swimming. You're going to be on deck chairs around the swimming pool. On the Savannah tour, which is in April, May, that's still just the end of summer, so it's complete different. It will be much hotter in the south again. It will be even more warmer in the northern parts of the country. It will be warmer in Botswana. So we are a sunny destination. I mean, if we get rain, we're happy about it because we are a dry country. If you go into the north, rain would be mostly in a kind of a thunderstorm at the end of the day. So it just cools down the whole place, and you smell it the hour before it starts raining, and it just opens up nature for you. And you'll see when you're in parks as well, animals quickly adapt and they change their complete behavior when it rains. It's like they come alive. That's like cooling off during the day, and you'll see them walking around. And so in terms of best time to visit, it's always very difficult because also it's, some people love very extreme warm temperatures, others like cooler temperatures. So it is difficult if you do like expanded tour like we guys are doing. So I would say best time to visit is probably much any time during the year because you're going to have a mix of north and south. You're going to have hot and cold, but you're going to have always a lot of sun during the day, and mostly it will be in shorts and t-shirts. And we are a very relaxed country, so everybody just walks around in flip-flops and shorts, even in restaurants. So that's what you're going to experience, and the diversity of nature, the diversity of what you see adapts according to the weather. So it's actually also fun to see how it changes traveling north to south or south to north. And Namibia is about the same situation all year round, always nice weather. And you'll see as the last thing, always next to the coast, obviously it cools down. when I was there in the UK. Now Brighton was a bit colder than London, for example. So it's the same here when you're at the coastal cities, obviously where they're a little bit lower. The moment you move inland, like I live 100 kilometers from Cape Town, where I'm sitting right now. And I was this morning in Cape Town, and Cape Town was about 28. And I got back here and it was 37, just turning 30, 38. So it's a 10-degree difference on 100 kilometers. And that's the kind of weather that you can expect in South Africa. It changed the whole time. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's really helpful. You've made us all very jealous, but we've now got a better idea of what to pack. So thank you very much. So next then we're on the road. There are a lot of kilometres to travel along in Southern Africa, some days with long distances with few places to stop. We always recommend refuelling where possible to avoid being caught out. Every day is different due to varying road surfaces, toll roads, and not forgetting wildlife to keep an eye out for. Rian, I'll come to you first to talk through the practicalities of driving through Southern Africa. And then Deirdre, if you could elaborate from an escorted tour perspective.
All right, 100%. I'll kickstart it, then I'll give it to you, Deirdre. Yeah, well, to start with, South Africa is easy driving. So we have open spaces. It's big open roads. Obviously, when you go into a city, it's a city. But even there, we have space. So our roads are wider. It's easy to drive. We drive on the same side. We drive on the same side as you guys on the left. So that makes it a bit easier already. Obviously, the tours has been designed to use roads that's also suitable to camper or motorhomes. So we kind of stick to the main roads, bigger roads, to make it easier. It's very well directed. We don't have so many roads. So if you go north, you kind of go north. You can't go wrong. You'll get to the next town. In terms of refueling, also a bit better here. We don't have to refuel ourselves. So when you stop at a petrol station, there'll be a guy running out and you'll tell him, fill me up, and he will do that. You can ask him to check the tire pressure, the oil, the water, and he will happily do that. Most of the petrol stations in South Africa is also kind of little mini malls. So, they're big petrol stations. There's ATMs to draw money. There's restaurants. So if you want to pick up a cool drink or a snack on the road, you can do that there. If the guys fill you up, I mean, obviously it's free of charge, but we do tip them, obviously, if they do a good job, because they'll wash your windscreen and do the whole thing. In Rand value, we'll tip them between, say, 10 Rand. So that's going to be about 50p that you tip them. So it's not a boatload of money, but it's just to say thank you that he's helped you. Most of our roads is on the bigger outside of the cities are toll roads. And that differs in price, but it's basically just stopping. They accept credit cards. You just give them the credit card and you move on. So you will experience quite a bit of toll roads that you're gonna see. Road conditions in general are good. But obviously, the more remote we go, the more northern we go, there might be some potholes in the road, but there will be a sign up saying potholes. So it's just being aware of that. And there normally be signs up warning you about it. Also, like you'll see on the slide, we do have different kind of road signs. You'll get signs saying, watch out for the baboons, watch out for hippos in some areas. When you hit Botswana or Namibia, you might encounter wildlife on the road, like the elephants. But again, you are escorted. The tour leaders will brief you every day. You kind of adapt easily. You start looking, and it's open area, so you see that coming from a far distance. If you, for example, see elephants, it's just nice to stop there and watch them walk and drive on. It's just a different experience. But it is really easy driving. If there's any obstacles or any road closures or anything, we are connected the whole time on WhatsApp groups, and other groups are warning us. So if there's a road closure, we know about it, that we take detours. But in general, it's really an easy country to navigate, very easy to drive. That's about all I can tell you about it. Deirdre can probably expand a little bit more on the basics of what you can expect daily from your host couple.
Yes, thank you, Rian. Yeah, it's good to know also from if maybe a couple want to travel along their own, that the conditions are good, and yeah, you can get kind of almost a top up on the vehicle whilst you're stopping at a fuel station. So from a group point of view, Deirdre, how do you manage a group of motorhomes travelling long distances and making sure everyone finds their way and stopping at fuel stations together? Up here, Deirdre. Just checking. Deirdre and Quibus have got their. Are they with us? They were with us.
Do believe they are on, yes, but I seems like they're on mute still. I think we will be referring back to Deirdre on one of our upcoming slides about experiences. So maybe Deirdre can refer back to kind of the general experience and the journeys as well, if we're able to get her off mute.
Okay, well, we'll
should we
continue and then
press on?
hopefully they can sort out the mute on their computer. So yeah, just to recap on the road, a credit card is compulsory to collect the motorhome. There's no upper age limit, and as Rian said, you drive on the left, so that should be much easier when you're arriving there. Moving on to experiences, some of you have already booked that have joined us today. You've made the journey to Southern Africa and you want to make the most of your stay with as many amazing experiences as possible. Rian, how does your team choose the experiences, manage quality checks, and why is it worth arranging through a trusted partner and tour operator?
Yeah, Joe, let me start with that's the fun part of our job, because we are forced to go and have a look at all these things on a regular basis, experience all the excursions and be in the outdoors, and we're actually getting paid for that, so it's quite fun. But yeah, in terms of the experience of the activities that we have on the tour, obviously being on a motorhome tour, the basis are that you have a bit of or much more freedom of movement than you would have had on a bus tour or on another type of tour. And so we focus on that we don't fill up your days, every day that you have to do it kind of everyone the same thing. But when you're traveling to South Africa or Namibia or Botswana, there is some special little things that we find if you don't experience that when you're on tour, you're missing a bit of the essence of why you're here. There's a lot of safari parks, but obviously there's better safari parks than others, or ones with more animals or nicer scenery. So we pick and choose from the crop that we take the best experiences, and then we visit it, we experience it firsthand. We also obviously have a look of who's operating it. We want to know they're sustainable partners, that they do the right thing in the area, because most of these excursions, or a lot of them, are really in remote areas. And if you don't do it responsibly, if you don't do it sustainable, it's a nice experience, but it's not always good for the area or the people living there. So for us, it's very important to choose a partner that takes that seriously. And then we do regular quality checks. So we go there often. We go to travel fairs and shows that we meet each other. And then also, obviously, we get feedback from our clients. And if we get feedback that one excursion or something we do are not up to par, we would go and investigate and help them to get better, or or we change it. But then there's also a lot of optional activities also on the tour. Obviously, it's based on personal taste. If you include something like bungee jumping in your tour, it's definitely not for everyone. So a lot of things we give freedom that people can choose within their own what they like and what they want to do, that they can one do a museum and the other one want to do a hot air balloon. The opportunity are there. Deirdre and Cobus can obviously expand more how it happens daily, but the guide has everything with him. So every night there will be a briefing. It will be explained what's possible for the next day. It's also weather permitting that we might want to plan to visit the waterfall, for example. But it's not a nice day. It's raining, and we'll say, okay, but 4 days from now we get to another one or a better one. Postpone it till then. So we advise people or the clients on what's the possibilities, and we help them to get there and organize it for them and make sure they enjoy it. So yeah, a lot of stuff are included. That's the ones that we really find that you have to do, and the other ones it's on personal taste. And for us, it's very important. Once you leave here, you leave as an ambassador for South Africa. So we want to make sure that you had a good experience, that you go and tell other people it's a nice place to visit, come back and do it as well.
Thank you. Yes. And I'm sure once people have been once, then they'll want to come back again and again, like Rachel does. I'm not sure if we've got Deirdre and Cobus back on. We were going to include them and give them a bit of an update, give you all a bit of update about assisting people in group tours. But I'm not sure if they are online yet.
They might be now. It looks like they've unmuted. So Deirdre, are you there?
Oh.
Hello.
Cobus, yeah, great.
Hi, everyone.
Cobus is with us today.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, Deirdre's got some difficulties getting on, but I'm gladly to be here. Glad to help.
Thank you, Cobus.
You guys hear me?
Yes. So just sharing from escorted group point of view, how you kind of help people in terms of the driving in a group and assisting with any experiences along the way.
Okay. Yeah. So every night before departure, and also the nights not, we will sit together, chat about whatever we can expect for the next few days. If there's anything that anybody wants, we will gladly assist them to arrange. If we need to make pre-bookings for things, we will gladly do that. And then every night before departure, we go through everything. So everybody knows where to go and when to go. And it's not always a convoy ride. We try to give people as much freedom as possible. But of course, it's not always possible. So then we do need a convoy ride. And then it's much easier. Then we all stick together from point A to point B.
Brilliant. Thank you. I know we get a lot of good feedback about sort of sitting around in the evening and getting the information the day before, and all having a chat about what you did that day and then what you plan to do the next day as well.
Yes, we like to get everybody involved around the campfire. Around the fire, but it's not always a braai. But if you want to have something to prepare on the fire, there will always be coals, and there will always be assistance as well if you want. But most of the chatting happens around the fire before we leave to go to the next day.
Fantastic, thank you. That's good. It's great to know. We'll move on to the next slide. Hopefully, what you've heard has inspired a few people to make the most of every opportunity during their trip. But you'll all be interested to know about where you'll be staying each night. This slide provides an overview of the campsites and their facilities, which also includes some pictures which Georgia took when she travelled our Road to the Rainbow Nation tour. You might have read about her trip in the February's Club magazine. Many of our listeners today will be Caravan and Motorhome Club members and used to the high standard of facilities and pitches that the club provides. There is a spacing policy between vehicles. There must be at least 6 metre spacing between facing walls of adjacent caravans or motorhomes in the event of a fire and avoid spreading. This policy does not apply to Southern Africa campsites, and standards do vary. On occasions, this applies in particular to the Savannah Safari and Falls tour, where there are one-night stops to reduce the amount of driving in one day. In these instances, there are few choices of campsites and facilities can be basic. In January, we had the pleasure of meeting Rian during his visit to the UK and show him around the club site in Brighton. Rian, could you share your thoughts on how the site compares to the sites available in Southern Africa with us, please?
Yes, Joe. Well, firstly, the weather is much better at our campsites than I've seen in Brighton, to be honest. No, it was a real pleasure to go and see the campsite or at Brighton and to kind of compare it to what we have on this side. And to start off, South Africans, Namibians are very big campers. Okay, you'll see it when you get here. It's, you get very far with a pound if you come to South Africa. But with the South African rand going abroad, we don't get very far. So people tend to do their, especially in the winter holidays over June, July period, everybody exits all the cities and they hook their camper vans or their trailers or their caravans and they just head into the bush. So camping is a tradition. It's a lifestyle in South Africa, but we have a real diverse spectrum of campsites because South Africa is definitely not as regulated. We don't have a lot of rules here, but we do have a lot of fun. So if you take it on the tours that we're doing, sometimes we are at big resorts, which would then be kind of similar to what I've seen what you guys do in Brighton. So it means there will be a reception, there will be a shop, there will be a laundry, it will be nicely set out campsites, and there will be activities around it for the, for children, super tubes and all these kind of things. So it's very much compared to your campsites, what you'll find in our bigger resorts. But we also use a lot of other campsites. And obviously campsites here, what's better for me personally with our campsites in South Africa than staying in hotels is campsites are predominantly in the better spaces. It's at the most scenic spots. It's where you don't want to build a hotel because it's too difficult. That's where we go and camp. So normally what you give up in luxury, you gain in experience, in animals walking around, in viewpoints. But in general, all the campsites will have, it will be clean, it will be nicely set out where you can put your campers. There will be power points at every campsite. There will be ablution at every campsite, but there might not always be a shop or it's where you can buy stuff or a laundry. But obviously, as you travel along, the guide will advise you accordingly to say, listen, remember the next 2 or 3 days, we're not going to be close to all the facilities that we used to. So we're going to stop this morning at a bigger supermarket, stock up, and go through the 3 days. Then we'll get to a bigger shop again, and we can shop there, or there's a laundry or whatever you would need. So yeah, high value. It's really nice campsites. It's like you see on the pictures, it's diverse. Each one will have a braai area. I mean, braai is the national sport, barbecue in South Africa. So, and you'll also find mostly there will be other South Africans also camping. They don't go so much in motorhomes, but they're like 4x4 trailers that's rebuilt, that kind of pitches up like a whole little town, or 4x4 caravans. But they're friendly, they're open people. The moment they hear you're not from South Africa, they'll come over. They'll probably bring you a drink. They'll ask you what you're doing here, and you'll have fun with them. So people are very friendly and open to meet people. But yeah, I mean, the photo shows it as well. It's diverse. Sometimes we have to use a campsite, obviously, which is just to break the distance, because obviously it's long distances sometimes, so we don't want to drive all day. So sometimes it's a campsite that's not so spectacular, but it's there to break the distance. But that's very seldom. We use and we expect them, and we choose them for obviously quality and the location. So it is diverse. It's not always everything, but the basics are there. It's beautiful, and you'll definitely have fun there.
Brilliant, thanks, Rian. With regards to the groups, Quibus, would you be able to kind of share a little bit about the campsite experience when you're all together in a group?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we've had quite a lot of fun with the groups, I must add. It's always nice sitting down, chatting about what you guys are doing on your side or what we're doing on this side, and there's always a fun thing going on. And there's always some games that you guys introduce to us, and we introduce games to you, and so the whole tour becomes. Of course, not everybody has the same ability to everything, but we make it work with everybody as far as we can go.
Brilliant, thank you. So it's a very different experience for everyone. Campsites are very different, but basically it's take a sense of adventure and you'll have a brilliant time. Moving on to dining now, there are a plethora of dining choices in Southern Africa. Having been to South Africa a couple of times, I was absolutely blown away by the choice and the quality of the food, and an ample opportunity to try the locally produced wines. The cost to eat out is such good value for us Brits, and they certainly give us a run for their money when it comes to fish and chips. Rachel, could you please enlighten us with your experiences with dining in South Africa?
I mean, yes, absolutely. Dining in South Africa is so South Africa is home to Nando's, if any of you guys know it. So when you're on the road, there is heaps of places to stop. You've got Nando's, Steers, and what's the other one? Steers, what's the other one? Come on, help me. Beer? Yes. Come on, Rian. So just to kind of like when you're on the road, there is so much going on. However, the thing that really sets South Africa apart are the unique dining experiences that you can have across the country. Look, you can have a 10-course tasting menu at a wine farm in Constantia. You can have a seafood platter right next to the beach in Wilderness. Going through the country, a lot of the produce is from that country as well. So you really get the idea of, you really get local flavours. Now, the other amazing thing about South Africa is it's not just got its own unique food in terms of braai and potjie and things like that. You've actually got a lot of European influences and a lot of other African influences. So when you're actually in the country itself, you're getting the piri from Mozambique. You can get jollof rice from Nigeria. You can have French style cuisine dining, and you can have, but you could also just get a really good burger and chips by the ocean. So it's in terms of the food and wine, when you're going in the country, again, it's a diverse place and diverse people and diverse food, but coupled with incredible produce and such a wide range, because as I said before, we sit within such a unique biosphere that you've got different things that grow in different parts of the country. And so when you're in different areas, you'll find that you'll be driving through one of the more tropical areas and you'll get loads and loads of fruit on for sale, locally grown on the side of the road. When you're in just outside of Cape Town, one of the biggest apple growing regions is right there, and you can go and stop at a farm stall. So I get, locally made apple juice and cider and, you know, all of these things. So yeah, in terms of dining, you're not going to be not going to go wanting, I can guarantee that. And it caters for every single dietary requirement. It's not just about meat. We love a braai, don't get me wrong, but actually some of the more some of the vegetarian and the plant-based options in South Africa, they've got the produce, they grow it, so try it.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, that all sounds amazing. So definitely worth going out for the food and drink over there. You'll eat very well. As you can all see on this slide, the middle image is of entertainment at the Gold Restaurant in Cape Town. This was taken by Georgia during her trip on the Road to the Rainbow Nation tour. Cobus, would you be able to expand a bit on the different dining experiences that the group have on their tour, and also sort of any grocery shopping tips, practicalities of buying your groceries and braaiing?
Just looking here, Joe. We may have lost.
We lost them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we might come back to that then. We'll see how he gets on with the technology. So, but yeah, I can definitely vouch for the food and the braaiing. You'll be spoiled for choice. And as Rachel said, it's fantastic value. So talking of value, we'll move on to currency and some practical advice in general. We'll start with the money side of things. Credit cards are widely used in Southern Africa, as Rian referred to earlier, and you will actually need one to collect the motorhome anyway. Rachel, could you just start with providing recommendations on the best currency to use when in South Africa and Eswatini, Swaziland?
Yeah, so the South African rand is the currency for Southern Africa. We're not pegged to the dollar or anything. The rand is the rand. I would recommend, honestly, I use Monzo when I go over there, or you know, there's similar cards that you can take that give you honestly the best exchange rate. However, if you I do always recommend to take cash. There are car guards, there are people to tip. Obviously South Africa is a developing nation. The more cash that can get into the community, the better. So actually having cash with you is really recommended. When you stop at petrol stations, they fill up for you. They will give your window screen a little wash, give them 50 rand and it'll, you know, completely change their day. So taking some cash. Now, I will say that changing cash at Johannesburg Airport on arrival and Cape Town Airport will afford you the best exchange rate. So you can take pounds in and you can change it at the airport. I found that actually the exchange rate at the airport is no different to what I'm getting on my Monzo card, which is unheard of because obviously we are very used to going to the airport and getting completely ripped off the currency. Whereas actually when you get to the Bureau de Change, before you go through customs, when you've just come through passport control, that Bureau de Change there will be the one to change at. But always having cash is absolutely key. But when possible, in restaurants, paying for your fuel, you can do that with credit card with absolutely no problem at all. Everywhere takes Apple Pay and everywhere takes the card, so please do not worry about that.
Fantastic, thank you, great advice. And also we do go into Namibia, Botswana and Zambia. Rian, could you please provide your recommendations on what to take for traveling through these countries?
Yeah, I just want to add on to what Rachel said. You know, cash is yeah, it always works, and that was my same experience. Never exchange on your side into rand or into dollars or into anything that you come here to change it on arrival. You always get a better exchange rate at the end of the day. But yeah, South Africa is rand and everything is paid in rand. The Namibian dollar, when we go into the section of Namibia, the Namibian dollar is connected to the rand. So you can pay with South African rand in Namibia as well. Namibia used to be a province of South Africa before independence. So you can pay with rand. It's the same exchange rate. It's about 23 against the pound at this stage. but you can't pay with Namibian dollars in South Africa, but you can use rand in Namibia. So the Namibian dollar is in essence the same as the South African rand, and they only accept Namibian dollars in Namibia. Once you cross over to Botswana and Zambia, they have their own currencies, the Pula in Botswana and the Kwacha in Zambia. But Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe are all dollar-based countries. So the kind of value that they put on accommodation or anything is all charged in dollars. So they do accept foreign currency as well. They will accept pounds as well. But the currency that they know is dollar. So to have cash dollars with you once you cross into Botswana and Zambia is always handy. Remember, you can't get chains. So break it down into small denominations if you can. Don't rock up there with $100 bills. They're going to give you chains in kwachas. And believe me, you can't change kwachas back to anything, not even to South African rand. So the Botswana pula is a little bit stronger than the South African rand. That's about 17 against the pounds. And the kwacha is, but other side, you get 37 for a pound. But once you're there, you want to kind of use your credit cards for your major purchases, like, you know, refueling and buying stuff at a lodge or in a shop. Cash is handy, but limited. There's ATMs all over the show. There's more ATMs in Africa than McDonald's. So you can always draw money from an ATM if you need it. But once you get the feeling of what things cost, you know better how to plan. Obviously, the guides will guide you on that as well. But you don't want to end up with a lot of cash when you're leaving, especially with things like kwacha. Like I said, then you can use it as a souvenir, give it to the grandkids, but you're not going to change it back into pounds, and it's going to be a bit of a waste. So I would recommend cash dollars a little bit, pounds also work. And for the rest, credit cards, draw from an ATM what you need for the next 2 or 3 days, and just use that, and always have a bit of cash available. Like Rachel said, we have a lot of people watching your car when you park, and you tip them because they just make sure all your stuff is safe. You know, they're not official, but they will have a little yellow jersey on, but they will stick with your camper and they'll make sure it's all safe. So at the end, it's changed at every border, using credit cards and drawing cash as you need per country. That would be my advice.
Brilliant. Thank you for that practical inside information there. That's really, really helpful. I'm just going to move on to the next practical information. Before I continue, we are approaching 4 o'clock, so we are a little bit behind due to our initial technical problems. So we will slightly go over it if anyone would like to stay on with us. Otherwise, please let us know and we can send you the recording. So just coming on to visas, we do advise about checking with the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office for the most up-to-date visa information. The latest update is that Namibia have just announced a visa is required to enter from the 1st of April 2025. It can be purchased locally, but we recommend purchasing the visa on arrival, option no more than 30 days prior to departure. And when then there is a visa to enter Zambia locally, and I do know the group hosts are excellent in assisting with that and handling the visas when you're entering Zambia. So we'll move on to the next slide, which is some questions have been submitted related to safety, particularly travelling around in a motorhome. Rachel, as you travelled to South Africa from the UK many times, what can you share of your experiences of being in South Africa from a safety point of view?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, look, I get this question a lot, and I understand why I get it. I do just some of the things that I do kind of point out is that nearly, in 2019, it was about 500,000 Brits and Irish people went to South Africa, and we don't tend to have any issues at all. Last year, it was 360,000 Brits went to South Africa, of which nearly 80% had been before. People aren't going back to a country where they feel unsafe. People, if you speak to anyone who's been, they will tell you that you are just, I think you do take yourself a little bit more seriously and you are a bit more sensible. But honestly, it's very much a case of where you are in South Africa, where tourists are, you are very much in a very secure place. You're not traveling out to the areas. Crime is quite localized in South Africa, and it is a problem, and we appreciate that. And it's not a secret. But where people are going on holiday is a very different part of the country to where these things are happening. So you will have heard, and you probably will read the news and you know, have certain concerns. But honestly, I can tell you that I've never had an issue in South Africa in all the times that I've visited. I've driven myself on my own up from Durban to Johannesburg. I've been round to I've been walking around, you know, the waterfront and sea points in Cape Town at night on my own. I feel like it's very much where you are, how you act, and just being very, very aware. There's a lot of places in the UK that you would be the same. So just keeping that in mind with South Africa as well. But yeah, as I said, 80% of people who go to South Africa have been before, and some of them as many times as me. And we wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't great. So yeah, don't please feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I will respond. But you know, that is kind of my point on it, and I do talk to people about this a lot, so I do understand why that question gets asked.
Thanks, Rachel. And I think you've referred to this before about the insurance on the motorhomes, about the fact that they're allowed to that they cover us. With, you know, so it's just, yeah, it's just referring to.
Look, when we refer to travel insurance covers you in the only place in the world where you actually have to, you know, you can't get travel insurance is whether it actually is you can't travel there, or whether, you know, the US. But you've also got the car hires and the motorhome companies. They wouldn't offer as many cars for hire at the cost they do with the insurance levels that they do, because the risk for a lot of the visitors to South Africa is very, very low. So, you know, the insurance wouldn't be there because they are, as you know, they calculate risk. So that's a point.
Thank you. Yeah, I find that very reassuring, and some really great points there, and pictures there of everyone being very friendly. People are very friendly over there, and happy to help if you need any assistance. So I'm just going to start wrapping up this presentation. I would like to express a massive thank you to Rachel, Brianne, and Quobus, and Deirdre today. Unfortunately, both of them had problems logging in, but thank you for all your insights. Your advice has been very insightful and hopefully answered many questions. I'm going to pass it over to Ben now to finally wrap up today's webinar.
Yes, thank you, Jo. Thank you, everyone, for your patience at the beginning of the call whilst we just had some of those technical teething issues. But as Jo said, hopefully found it really, really beneficial, and we've addressed some of your concerns, ideas, things that you wanted to know about the destination. And it really has been a fantastic webinar. So thanks to our partners as well on the panel. This slide here, I just wanted to put this in at the end, really, and just take a moment to emphasize why we believe we're the perfect choice for you when you are considering your next adventure to somewhere like to Southern Africa. And really, kind of some of these key points I've just summarized here, that we really are the specialist in motorhome and caravan travel, and in fact we're the only UK operator providing escorted motorhome group tours to these destinations as well, and customers. Also, hopefully you've seen from today, but just a little insight into it, but you will be supported with a complete end-to-end service from a team of dedicated travel experts, Georgia and Gemma in particular, who a lot of the time you'll be speaking to on the phone every step of the way. And also, as you see, we've got some amazing trusted partners in destination as well, who'll be there to support you on your journey and throughout. And finally, just the fact as a kind of a peace of mind overlay, really, that our holidays are ABTA and ATOL bonded. But also, I wanted to share this quote here just at the end, because it's a quote from a member that I once spoke to, who I really thought encapsulated what we set out to do with our holidays. And it was in response to my question, how would you describe us as a brand to your peers? And he kindly responded, a trusted brand who can support you with finding that sense of adventure from a holiday. I just thought it was a really powerful quote that, that as I say, really encapsulated what we do with our holidays. So whilst you take a moment just to kind of reflect on that and those elements, I'm just going to pop over to the next slide, which is just to recap on our fantastic competition that we've run alongside the webinar today. I'm sure this wasn't a detail that you overlooked when registering, but there will be 3 lucky winners who will have the chance to win a delicious bottle of red and white Steenberg wine, which is produced in the Constantia Valley near Cape Town. And this prize has been kindly given by Involve Africa. So big thanks to Rian and his team at Involve Africa for supporting with this prize. We will be pulling the names at random after this webinar from those who attended live today. So 3 of you on the call today will be able to get a taste of Southern Africa in the very near future, and hopefully entice you to a bigger trip to the destination itself. So really that just leaves me to say once again, thank you, a huge thank you for joining. I really hope we fulfilled your expectations from today's webinar. If you do have any further questions, we can hang around here for a couple of moments if you want to put any more comments or questions in the chat. But easily accessible. If you call through, you will get through to one of us. You'll be speaking to us in person. You can request a brochure directly with us as well to see all the holidays and the destinations we travel to. Otherwise, I hope we can support you on booking your next adventure to Southern Africa. But thank you very much. Goodbye and bye, Adanki.